Adam Shine, Kyle Long in the CBS Sports Studios. And Kyle, I got to tell you, I thought the Rams were going to win today. Picked them to win the game. Up 19. I'm looking great. I'm feeling great. There's no chance, even though I know Philly has the heart of a champion, that the Eagles are going to come back and win. That they won, how they won. My goodness, what a story today in Philly.
You know, I found myself watching that game with some of the same feelings you had about what I was witnessing. And obviously, a lot of questions about the Eagles early on in the season. But Adam, last year we had questions about the Eagles early on in the season. And the last I remember, last season finished with them absolutely stomping somebody out in the Super Bowl. Some of these same issues are happening early in the season with the Eagles. What's their identity on offense? Why does Jalen Hurts look like maybe he's handcuffed at the quarterback position by Petula? But at the end of the day, when you've got this offensive line, when you've got a guy like Vic Fangio on the back end, albeit with some young pieces trying to figure out how to develop their defense, you always have a chance. And I always say, your floor is your offensive line skill level. And today we saw that the Eagles, they had a dent in their armor when Lane Johnson went down. And they were behind to the Rams. And they were forced to go down the football field with the ball. And Jalen Hurts had to take some shots down the field. They couldn't protect the same way. And when you got Lane Johnson out there, I don't care who you're playing, he's going to block him. The right guard, Steen, who's a new guy in there for him, feels more comfortable. He's next to a Hall of Famer. Cam Jurgens, down the whole line. Landon Dickerson, Mailata. They are incredible when they're together, but it shows you how important the offensive line is with a guy like Lane Johnson coming out. Not only that, Jalen Hurts, right-handed quarterback. He gets hit one time from the right tackle spot, knowing Lane Johnson's out. His eye level may sink a little bit from play to play. He's starting to wonder what the hell is going on over there on the right side. It's only natural. But you see at the end of the game, in the second half, when the Eagles started to claw back, I got on Twitter, I said, this feels like a Rocky movie. And if you've seen Rocky, you know that he always gets the hell beaten out of him.
That's right.
At the beginning, and he's slugging around the ring, and then all of a sudden the left hand comes in, boom. And to me, it wasn't the offense. Well, you know what? I give credit. A.J. Brown, he took over the game in the second half.
He was phenomenal.
But it's the defense I want to talk about and the special teams, okay? Big-time plays from the Philadelphia Eagles. 2 blocked field goals with under 9 minutes to go in the football game. The Rams had him dead to rights. So the Eagles came back. They hit A.J. Brown for a number of shots, scored the touchdown. They get within piercing range of the Rams' lead, and the Rams make a stop. And I came in here, I said, Adam, they survived the counterpunch. The Rams survived the counterpunch from the Eagles. So now it's time to put them to bed, get them down for the 10 count. That would have been the field goal and the second field goal, both of which were blocked. I give a ton of credit to this Philadelphia Eagles team because they know how to win. There's a lot of teams who are trying to reinvent their identity around the football, this National Football League, and they don't know how to win yet. They may have the right coach, they may have the right quarterback, but their team doesn't know how to win. The Eagles have been to the mountaintop, and you could see today that everybody was like, we got to pick this stuff up and win this football game.
I love the way you phrase this, and I want to hit on some of the numbers and kind of hit that home. They know how to win, right? On a day where Saquon Barkley was ordinary, Lane Johnson leaves the game, and he's injured. And you could make the case, when you talk about Johnson and Barkley, they might be the 2 best players on the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, let's just throw 2 of the 4 best players, like pound for pound, as good as it gets. And Jalen Hurts, he's a winner. He's obviously a champion. Hasn't done much throwing the ball. New offensive coordinator, to your point, first 2 weeks of the season. They're down 19. They're depleted on the line. Says, get on my back, boys. And the fact that he's able to have all those completions, the numbers to me speak volumes. You look at 109 yards, 6 catches for A.J. Brown. You look at Devontae Smith in that 4th and 1, 8 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. That was incredible. The fact that it was Jalen Hurts throwing the ball to his top 2 receivers who are big-time ball players, that to me was a big deal.
And here's why I don't blink with Jalen Hurts. People can talk until they're blue in the face and complain about his regular season performance.
Right.
But what I've seen from this dog at the quarterback position for the Philadelphia Eagles is a guy who finds a way to win. And he finds his best when his best is needed. Go put on the Super Bowl film and go watch that guy and tell me he's ordinary. So for the Philadelphia Eagles, they have the utmost confidence. And a guy like A.J. Brown, you call his number, eventually he's going to pick up. And when he picks up, he's probably going to pick up again and again and again. And even then, when Devontae Smith scores in the front right corner of the end zone, I was anticipating another A.J. Brown ball.
Yeah.
Because when a guy gets hot, you keep getting him the football, You said Saquon Barkley was ordinary. I saw a play down there in the red area where he made a guy miss in the A-gap that was not human. The move that he made was not human. And for people that are trying to watch all the games and don't have an appreciation for the micro, stuff like that is what separates the Philadelphia Eagles. Stuff like Jalen Carter being able to line up at the end and rush any passer, be able to turn on a dime. They have a number of guys who can do things that you're not supposed to be able to do physically.
Also, I think it's a statement that the NFC still runs through Philadelphia. And look, I picked the Rams to win the game. I picked the Rams to ultimately go to the Super Bowl. I still stand by that. But Kyle, it's tough for me to continue to bang that drum. Think about all the things that went right for the LA Rams. They jump out to that big lead. Verse had the strip sack. Kyron Williams was a force on the ground. Matthew Stafford rock steady. Big game for Puka Nacua. Devontae Adams able to score a touchdown. There was one that maybe could have caught, there's a Philly defender that got his paw in the way there. So many things went right. Special teams at the end let him down. Cardi, the one-man party, was on for that game-winning kick. I thought for sure he would make it. It was blocked. The rest is history. I still believe in L.A.,
Yeah.
But today is one of those days where you say, okay, Philadelphia, the Bucs are 3-0, but it still runs through Philadelphia in the NFC.
I know they played against a very tough defensive line today in the Philadelphia Eagles, but you have to keep in mind that this Rams team historically has not been great. They haven't even been good. They haven't even been average at the offensive line position for Matt Stafford. So when you're watching the Los Angeles Rams and you're seeing the success of that offense, just like the special players I talked about in Philly, they have special, tough, smart players in Los Angeles. In order to play the receiver position, to be a guy like Puka Nacua, you have to be willing to go above and beyond. It's no longer, okay, you're a receiver, you're going to do infantry. This is special operator type territory when you're playing receiver for the Los Angeles Rams. We saw it today. They're going to have to lean on those guys. Matt Stafford, he came up a bit ginger today. Something to keep an eye on. Obviously, going into the season, we had questions about his back. I don't know if it was back or leg today, but it did not look great. Something to keep an eye on. But Devontae looks confident. He's got a quarterback who obviously sees the game through the same set of eyes that he does, and it's looked great. And the kicker is that the Los Angeles Rams have a pass rush, have a unit up front that can single-handedly win them football games, get them the ball back. That's the big separator in winning games and dominating games. And they just happen to run into a very, very good football team today.
3-0 Philadelphia Eagles, 3-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming up in Tampa. Buckle up. Yeah. For Kyle Long, I'm Adam Shine. See you next week.